In this video, I'll be talking about the Sigma 50mm to 100mm art lens. Unlike many reviewers, I'm solely interested in using Sigma's 50 to 100 f1.8 art lens on my Alpha 6300 body with the MC11 adapter. If you're interested in the 30mm f1.4 DCDN for Sony that Sigma makes, check out the cards or the link in the description. I've made a review on that lens as well. You probably already know the specs on this lens, so I'm just going to give you my opinion in this video on its autofocus performance, its image quality, and its usability. In addition, I'll intersperse video tests and stills that I've taken with this lens throughout the video. So let's keep it simple. The Sigma 50 to 100 f1.8 art is probably the best normal to short telephoto zoom lens that I've used optically. Its weight, however, makes it difficult to use without some method of support. So I want to make sure I hit a few key points: the autofocus performance in stills and video, the usability, and the image quality. Let's start with the AF performance in video. In my opinion, paired with the MC11 EF to E adapter, the 50 to 100 does fantastically with video autofocus. If you move between subjects that are too far apart too quickly, without the chance of giving the AF motors time to rack focus between them, acquiring focus on your second subject will be a difficulty. However, with a touchscreen or DPAF natively mounted to a Canon DSLR body, perhaps this wouldn't be an issue. And please, if I'm providing value to you with this video, consider dropping a like or subscribing to my channel. So the AFC on this lens works very well, and in my opinion, it works best for talking head videos, much like this one. However, the AF motor is very loud and will be picked up even by a professional audio solution like the Rode VidMic Pro. On the other hand, you'll stay in focus. But now that the easy part is out of the way, let's talk about the AF performance with stills. It's poor. It's slow, it hunts for focus, but once it does achieve focus, it will nail that critical focus better than any of my other f1.8 lenses. It'll just take a few tries to nail it. Honestly, using f2.8 focus peaking and manual focus will get you near perfect shots nearly every time, and it'll oftentimes be much faster. And before you ask, yes, all of my firmware is up to date, and no, I don't have a gray market lens. I think, from my experience, that this lens does much better on Canon DSLR bodies for stills, even on bodies like my full-frame 6D. To wrap up stills autofocus performance, when it gets it right, it's perfect. And oftentimes, it gets it right when you're using face detect. However, its AF performance is better in video than in stills, even when giving it the leg up of putting AF zone into wide. However, the focus motor is very loud, and there is a lot of focus breathing. As a quick aside, with most of the portraits that I've shot on this lens, the AF performance, in terms of how slow it is, hasn't made a whit of difference in actually getting the shots that I was looking for. Moving on to image quality, if you're interested in this lens, it's probably for that f1.8 aperture through the zoom range, and it won't disappoint. Despite sharpness improving into f2.8, I haven't noticed too much sharpness improvements past f2.8, and oftentimes you'll get sharpness improvements into the corners into about f4, but I really feel like f2.8, sometimes even f2.2 really clears everything up. When I have mounted it to a Canon, when I have mounted the Sigma 50 to 100 f1.8 art to a Canon crop sensor DSLR, I have noticed some back focusing. However, your local camera store may be willing to help with that if you don't already own Sigma's USB dock. Speaking of mounting it to Canon DSLRs, if you're a crazy person like myself and you mount it to a full frame Canon DSLR like my 6D, vignetting will just about go away by 100mm. And the stills performance on those Canon DSLRs is snappy and responsive. Segueing into usability, this lens is most usable when using some kind of support, and you also get better image quality out of it. I myself prefer my trusty Mi Photo Backpacker Air because I can take it everywhere with me. It's about the same size and weight as the lens, and I can get really low with it, so I can get really impressive macro-esque looking shots of like flowers and stuff. However, I've also been able to get really good results with monopods and even shutter speeds down to 1/2 of the focal length. So that's between 1/25 of a second and 1/50th of a second without motion blur. But this lens is a chunk. Weighing 3.3 pounds or 1.5 kilograms, the build quality is fantastic. But it'll probably be heavier than any 2 other pieces of kit in your bag combined. I would not recommend traveling with it. For gear that I would recommend traveling with, check out the cards or the link in the description. In conclusion, I'd give it 4.5 out of 5 stars for video autofocus performance. The loud focus motor and the focus breathing have between them knocked off about half a star there. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars for stills AF, because although slow and requiring multiple attempts to achieve critical focus on the Alpha 6300, when it nails it, it is perfect. Image quality is 5 out of 5, and usability is also going to be 3.5 out of 5. You have to really want to use this lens to keep carrying it around, but in my opinion, the build quality and the image quality make up for it. Would I recommend this lens? With an overall rating of about 82%, averaging those previous scores, I would. However, I would first recommend looking more closely at Sigma's 18-35 f1.8 art lens, because I think that I at least would use that lens more than I use this lens. And it's several $100s cheaper and doesn't have focus breathing issues at the same level that this one does. So that's about it for my review of Sigma's 50-100 f1.8 art lens that I'm using on my Sony Alpha 6300. If I provided value to you with this video, please leave a like, comment, consider sharing it, or subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your time and for your attention, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
Take me away.